You are right about that, but man, listen, in my life, I've always been a two-motor guy. Almost everywhere I go, almost all my boats always have a little...
Here we go with the top here. We're doing some scrubbing. Most of it looks a lot like this over here. And we're going to start on this corner and work the whole top from this corner over here to the point and back over to that corner. And then we'll start back over here, and that's how we'll continue to coat it until the whole top surface is done and we can get down off this thing. They don't just come right off. You can see the strokes side to side, so obviously I'm going to go side to side, and then I'll do a second pattern the opposite way and back and forth until the chalky is gone, so I don't end up with too many deep strokes in one direction. So I'm getting it down, figuring it out, and it's going a little bit faster as we go now that I'm getting the swing of it. What I started on last night, and his looks aces. So what we're gonna have done now is Scotty's gonna come over and join Jody, and the two of them are gonna get it right where I need it, and I'm gonna lay it down, and we're gonna be out of here in a couple hours. So he's done a lot of elbow grease already. He's a real bear when it comes to work. Congratulations, Jody, and thank you so much for helping. Scotty, he's been my rock. Thank God for the labor of love. I'm filming, guys. You guys have done a hell of a lot of freaking rubbing on this boat. Can't call it wet sanding because it's actually 10 times harder than that. So it's not exactly wet sanding, because wet sanding would have been easy.
But it is wet sanding. It's just
it is,
sanding.
but it's like the finest way of ever doing it with a chemical that allows it not to take off any of the good part of the gel coat. It only attacks the oxidation. Off all the residue. We got all the little concave patterns and little tight areas to where they're not white and highlighted anymore, because when you put this stuff on, it'll just be glassy white if you don't get it. So don't think you're going to get away with shortcutting it. If it's in this condition, you're just going to screw yourself. Do it right, and do it until you know it's right, or it's already freshly coated. So we're going to start here on the top.
Hey, he's starting to make my face in the trim.
Okay, so here we go with coat number 1 drying. As coat number 1 dries,
right off the bat,
and getting ready to start the second coat. We've gone back to the windshield and wrapped around a little bit. It's looking pretty good. The first coat's always the hardest to cover with, and then it gets a little easier, and it does dry fast. So we're getting ready to do the other side and see how it goes. Alright, so kind of working on this patch over here while the other one's drying, and giving it a chance to dry before we start on another layer, because it just gets kind of tacky where you can't really get into another layer until it's dry. Put together and learn from each other, and Jody can learn a lot from both of us, detailing wise. But he wants to learn. He's a hard worker.
Oh yeah, I'll tell him.
The OCD layer after layer, touching it up until there's no patchy look, and you can only keep going until it starts getting tacky, and then you gotta let it dry. But eventually you get enough coats on there that goes away, and it gets a little easier as you're getting closer to the end. But it is easy to get to where you just want to keep putting some layers on just to reassure, and it's not a bad idea. I recommend it. But We went down pretty far with this one too. We couldn't get all the way down where we wanted to around the trailer, but this is just a project, and I believe it went well. Everything looks real nice. We are not doing anything to the interior yet because they're still working on the motor, and they're gonna be done with that, and that's when we'll be done with the cushions. So until then, everything's good.